Hey, it's Jag. Let's finish off that chassis. The cold continues. It was down to minus 28 overnight. It's about minus 22 out there right now. I've had the heaters on in the shop for a couple of hours, and I've got it up to exactly 0 degrees in here. So still pretty chilly, but I have work to do. I've decided where the DC jack is going for the edge lighting connector. I'm also going to be drilling holes for an XLR output jack, so it will have an XLR balanced output and a 1/4 inch unbalanced output, and also a ground lift switch for any ground loop hum on the XLR. I'm going to debur it, clean it up, get all of the mounting holes tapped. So I will be tapping holes for the standoffs for the circuit card, for the tube socket holder. I will tap those screws. The XLR jack will have tapped screws. I will also be drilling and tapping holes in the boost mode converter to mount it to the chassis. So all of those things will be mounted with machine screws right to the chassis. I don't think I will need any nuts or washers on the opposite sides of those. That should hold everything in well. So all that said, let's get to it. This first Rivnut I put in actually stripped out when I was putting it in. So I've got to drill that out and put another one in. So I'm starting with that. Next is another 17/64 hole up in the upper corner of the chassis. That is for the connection for the edge lights. The edge lights will go in the cabinet up above the chassis, and so I'm just going to use a regular DC jack here, and it will come from the LED lights and plug in there. So like before, going to drill this time an 1/8 inch pilot hole, and then enlarge that to the 17/64. Well, I talked to my brother a few days ago, and he would like balanced XLR output and a 1/4 inch unbalanced output on this. So I'm going to just drill for that now. I'm going to, the original hole I drilled for the unbalanced output, I'm going to enlarge and use for the ground lift switch for the balanced XLR output. Then next to that, I'm going to drill out a 3/4 inch hole for the XLR jack, and then I will drill a new 7/16 hole for the unbalanced output jack on the back of this. So I will start with that 15-30 seconds. Now for the XLR jack, it will be 3/4 of an inch around. My step bit is going to need a 1/4 inch pilot hole, so I'm going to start by drilling an 1/8 inch pilot hole, and then I'll enlarge that to 1/4 inch, and then I'll go at it with the step bit. Next is a 7/16 hole for the unbalanced output jack. Again, I'll start with an 1/8 inch pilot hole, and then use one of my step bits to get to 7/16. Next, I need to drill 3 32 inch holes for the tube socket mounting screws, the screws for mounting the XLR jack, and I've already drilled 3 32 inch holes for the standoffs for the circuit card. For all 3 of those things, my plan is to tap the chassis and screw right into the chassis. If that doesn't work, I can go with nuts on the other side of those screws, but if tapping them works out, then I'm a happy guy. I also am going to do the same thing with the boost mode converter. I need to drill 2 3 32 inch holes that I will tap, and I have to be careful when I do that because I don't want to go through the wall, break through the wall very quickly, and then go into the transformer or the capacitor over on this side. So when I do this, I will set a depth stop on the drill press so I can't go too far down. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 holes to tap to 632 thread, 4 for the standoffs for the circuit card, 2 for the tube socket, 2 for the XLR jack, and 2 in the boost converter. So just going to get to that. It's still real chilly out here. Hopefully I'll be done out here soon. Well, that's worked out well. The tube socket is mounted solid. The standoffs are screwed in tight. The boost mode converter is screwed in here where it's going to go. Everything's tight. And the XLR jack is in there nice and solid. So really happy with all of that. So the next thing to do is to take all of these standoffs and screws back out and get the tape off of here, deburr all these holes, clean everything up. The pots fit in the holes just fine. The input and output jacks fit fine. The ground lift switch fits. The only thing I have to finesse on here is the holes for the paddle switches, the one for the edge lighting and the one on the front here that will be for the main power. I'm going to have to file those a little oblong, and then I need a little flat spot on each side. And same with the little DC jacks. I need to make the holes a little oblong, and I need flat sides on them. So next thing I'm going to do is take all of the screws and everything out of here, get the tape off, and do the deburring and the filing and final fitting of everything. That's the deburring and cleanup done. Deburring is one of my absolute least favorite things to do. You never get all of the burrs. You never get all the burrs completely off, and you end up with scratches all over yourself from the little metal shavings. You also, when you're doing this, you need to be careful. I did a lot of brushing off the bench top while I was doing that, and that's because those are all little metal filings that you're taking off, all those burrs, and they land on the table, and if you put your chassis down on top of those, you can scratch up your chassis. So you really want to do your best, make your best effort to try and keep the top clean while you're doing it. Deburr as well as you can. The only thing really left that I have to do now is to work on these holes for the DC jacks and the paddle switches. That's probably not going to be one of my most fun things to do today either, but it does need to be done. So I'll start with the paddle switches and see where we get. I got a little too tired of working out in the cold, and I got a little brave, and I did enlarge the hole for the paddle switch just a little bit, and the hole for the DC jacks just a little bit, and they both worked out really well. They fit perfectly. They do cover the holes, which was the thing I was most concerned about. You can see that there. The only thing that I have to be careful of is because they have the flat sides, which is to keep them from spinning, I've enlarged this enough that they can spin now. The truth is, these flat sides I don't think really would have stopped it from spinning anyway, looking at it. So the paddle switch has some teeth on the back of it, so it probably won't spin once I put it on there. I'll hand tighten this and see what happens. So as long as you snug that up, the paddle switch doesn't turn in its hole. The DC jack, I'll have to look and see if I can get some toothed washers to fit on the back there, or maybe I'll put a jam nut on so that when I snug that up, it can't turn either. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's get a few more things here and give you a sneak peek on what at least the back panel is going to look like. So there you have it, a rough look at what the back panel is going to look like when it's done. Of course, I haven't made a faceplate yet, and I haven't mounted the boost mode converter in there. But we got our DC input jack, we got the paddle switch for the LED edge lights, unbalanced output jack, balanced XLR output jack, and the ground lift switch for the XLR. This switch is probably my least favorite part of the whole thing, but it's what I had, and it works. It's a very solid switch. I don't like the little micro switches. They break all the time. Maybe I'm just not getting the best quality ones I could get. I'm not sure, but so this bigger switch is okay. It's on the back, so I'm okay with using that one. The front panel, of course, will have input jack, all the tone controls, and the other paddle switch will go in here with the LED light in it. On the top, we'll have the 12AX7, and then you'll just see these the ends of the standoffs poking through the top here. On the inside, we'll have the boost mode converter. The circuit card will go here, all the controls here. So everything's looking good. I'm very happy with this. Another day of working on the chassis, but basically the chassis now is done. Everything mounts, everything's clean, so I'm really happy with that. That's all the time I have for today. So like always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check my band One Soul Thrust. As always, the links are in the description below. And until the next video, we'll see you.